Hi guys, Lance here from the Rocky Mountain Life Channel, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Kawasaki's new big announcement. And there's a pretty good chance you've probably heard about it by now. I think it was released yesterday or the day before. And that is the fact that they are bringing back the KLR 650 for 2022. That's pretty exciting news for anybody who likes dual sporting. That KLR 650 has been a venerable mainstay in the motorcycle world for 35 years or something like that. I don't actually remember the year they first came out with it, 1987 or something like that. So it's been a long time. And they're bringing it back for 2022, and they just released some information on their website. They claim that it's all new. Is it? Just how new is it? And are the changes and differences worth buying one? Or do you just want to hang on to your old one or buy a used one? I mean, the last year that they made them was 2018. And there are still a few dealerships around that even have those 2018s. And there's lots of used ones all over the place that you can get. So is it worth buying the new one? Or is it not? I don't know. Probably depends on who you ask. But let's jump into the website here and just take a look and see what all is different, if anything, and figure out kind of what's going on with this thing. So if you go to Kawasaki, you can view new models. And not only does it show the new KLRs, but it's also got the new KLX 300 on there, the new KLX 300 SM, handful of new Ninjas, and some new side-by-sides and things. So Kawasaki has rolled out some new things this year. But specifically, we're going to talk about this KLR. Now, you've got the all-new KLR 650 ABS. They say all-new. I'm not sure I'm convinced of that, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. They also have an adventure version, and they have a traveler version. Now, if we just briefly go through each one of these things, let's take a look at some specs and things like that on it here. So for the ABS, this is the sort of the base model. Starts at $6,699. If you get the ABS, it's $6,999. Specs. All right, here we go. Technology, ABS, anti-lock braking system. Doesn't say anything about any kind of modes. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to what the Versys has, and as I understand it, the Versys ABS system is either on or off, and there's no in between. There's no off-road version or a muted version of ABS or any of that stuff. It's either all or nothing, which I suppose is okay. Here we go. Power, 4-stroke, single cylinder. Okay, I kind of thought maybe if it was all new, maybe it would go to a twin, but maybe not. Compression ratio, 981. That's not a high compression engine. It looks to me, based on what I can tell, the engine is basically the same old engine that they had before. Everything looks very, very similar. Even the tailpipe looks pretty much the same as it did before. Everything else looks very similar. But it is now fuel injected. And to me, that is the biggest thing with this new KLR, is the fuel injection. Now, the carburetor guys are going to be groaning and rolling their eyes, and that's fine. Personally, I like fuel injection. I like the way it performs at different elevations. And I live at pretty high elevation, over 7,000 feet where I live. So I like the fuel injection. That's why my Beta has fuel injection. That's one of the reasons why I got it. But that right there is a major difference versus the old KLRs. But again, here we are back to a 5-speed transmission. And if the gearing is anything like my old KLR was, and I don't have any information to tell me one way or the other if it is or not, but if the gearing, the stock gearing, is what the old one was, it's really tall. But at the same time, if you're going to go cross country with this, you're going to need it to maintain highway speeds for long periods of time, then that's probably what you want. But it's certainly not great at off-road slow stuff. So performance, let's take a look at the performance here. All right, 7.9 inches of travel on the front suspension. That's about what it was before. Unitrack gas charged shock with piggyback reservoir with adjustable rebound damping and spring preload. 7.3 inches of travel on the back. Again, that sounds pretty much like it was before. Now, doesn't say anything about you being able to adjust those front forks. It does say you can adjust the rebound damping and spring preload on the rear, but not the front. And that's the way the old KLRs were. You couldn't really do anything with the front springs or shocks, aside from tearing them apart and replacing them. Now, I never actually did that with mine. What I did do is I put thicker fork oil in the front just to give it a little bit more resistance. And it actually did help a little bit, but it was enough to notice. But it still doesn't look like that there's any kind of adjustment in the front forks. That leads me to be highly suspicious that this fork setup on this new KLR is exactly the same as what it used to be. They have not re-engineered that as near as I can tell. Still have the 17-inch rear wheel as well, which I find to be less than ideal. Brakes look pretty much the same as what they were before. Let's see what it says under details here. Overall length, width, height. Ground clearance, 8.3 inches. That's about what it was before, as I recall. Seat height, 34.3 inches. I think that's about what it was. I think, as I recall, mine was like 35 or something. Mine was a 2003, and then I think they revamped the bike a little bit in 2007. I think it was a little bit different again, or 2004. I can't remember now. Curb weight for this one. Now, it should be with fuel and everything else. 460.6 pounds. So 460 pounds. It's still a big, heavy pig. And a 6.1 fuel gallon, that's about what they've always been. They say they've redesigned all that stuff, and it looks to me like the gas tank, it's shaped a little bit different, might give a little bit more room right through here for your knee, and that's good. A couple of color choices. This is sort of that khaki, pearl sand khaki they call it. Got kind of a sort of a military color vibe to it, which is kind of cool. This is a pearl lava orange. Normally, I like red. If you guys watch any of my videos, you know that my bait is red, and I like that. I had a red pickup truck for many, many years, and my wife's Jeep is red. So I like red vehicles, but this is sort of in between orange and red. So I'm not sure what I think about that. 460 pounds, though. That is an awful lot of weight for that. But let's take a look at some of these other ones here. Let's take a look at this Traveler version. The Traveler version is a little bit more money, jumps up about $400 or so from the other one, $7,399. So $7,400. They're definitely more money than they were in 2003. But let's take a look at the technology. ABS, exactly the same. Power, exactly the same. 652cc engine. Bore and stroke is the same. Compression ratio is the same. Everything else is the same. I think the only difference is they've put that box on the back. Don't really see anything else that's any different. It's the same forks, same travel, same brake, same 17-inch wheel on the back. So, okay, that's cool. Hey, look at this. Factory installed top case, DC and USB sockets. So that's nice. So many of us were always putting in aftermarket things on there so you can plug in your cell phone, and this time it's coming with it. So that's good. Getting something new about that. Now I'm interested that they didn't say anything under technology here about the dash, and the dash has a new digital dash. I'm surprised they haven't taken pictures of it either. So I find that to be interesting. So you jump up a little bit in price, and you pick up this tail bag, and you can get your charging ports and things on there, your power ports for your phones and things. So that's kind of cool. You can get that different color if you want. The one that's interesting to me, and the one that I would get if it was up to me, would be this one. This would be the Adventure. And the Adventure, everything's the same with the difference of side cases that they've got on this one. And fog lamps are calling it. This is sort of additional little lighting up here on the front next to your headlight, which, by the way, the headlight is new. It's LED. They have changed the fairing just a little bit with the way that it looks. But everything else is the same. It's the same engine. It's the same 5-speed transmission. Everything else is the same performance. Still got the same forks. Everything's the same. This one comes up to 487 pounds. So these buggers are heavy. There's no doubt about that. But as I look at this bike, this looks suspiciously similar to what they used to look like. Same fender, same tires, even looks like the exact same tread pattern. The engine looks pretty much the same, except of course it is fuel injected. The one thing I like about this version, this would be the one that I would get if I was to get one of these, I think, is this one's got crash bars on it. They call them frame sliders on the website, but it's crash bars. And I don't know exactly what these front ones are mounted to. It looks like they're mounted up here behind the lights, part of the fairing, but I don't know if it's just bolted to the plastic or if it's actually anchored to something behind there that's a little stiffer than just that. But gosh, 487 pounds, I think, for this one before you put yourself on it. It's heavy. But if you're looking for something to run across the country with and do some, adventure biking, this could be a pretty decent little option when you compare it to a KTM or something like that because of the price difference. That is a major difference. This one here comes in at $8,000. And it's already got the crash bars on it. It's already got the fog lights on it. It's already got a little stock skid plate, which isn't amazing. I had to replace mine on my old KLR pretty quickly. But it's still going to have these soft, squishy springs that you can't adjust on the front. Not going to have tons of travel. But, again, as I talked about in my video about my Beta, it all depends on what you want to use it for. Personally, I didn't want another big heavy machine like this because I was not going to be using it in the way that this machine is designed for. But if you're thinking about a light adventure bike and you don't have piles of money running out your ears like most of us don't, this could be a really great option for somebody who's looking to do some adventure exploring. I think it's a great idea, and I kind of like the camo and things like that. All right, guys, so final thoughts on this. 2022 KLR 650. Is it all new? No, I don't think it is all new. I think it is only a little bit new. It's sort of like a slightly tweaked version of the older version. I don't think they've re-engineered a whole lot of things on this. It's certainly not a new bike from the ground up, I don't believe. Obviously, we can't get our hands on one and ride one or anything like that, but I have this sneaky suspicion that if you throw a leg over one of these things and take it out for a spin, it's going to feel an awful lot like the old KLR. Now, nothing really wrong with that. It all depends on how you want to use it. For me personally, it'll be a bit too big and heavy for what I want it to be, which is why I bought the lighter Beta. But for a light adventure, instead of buying a $14,000 KTM, you're paying half the price roughly. Might not be too bad, but I don't think it's new, all new. But I love the fuel injection, love the ABS, love the new LED lighting, and they say it's got a new digital dash on it, which I haven't been able to find a picture of, but I'm sure that'll be forthcoming here before too long. So it's going to be exciting. We'll have to see when we're able to actually test ride one of these things and when they'll be available. But should be a lot of fun. And if I learn anything else in the meantime, I'll, of course, let you know. But I appreciate you tuning in, guys. And I hope you're having a great winter. For those of you, it's wintertime this time of year, which is why I haven't made a new Beta video for a little while. But I'm hoping that the weather will cooperate. We got snow here in Colorado over the last couple of days, and it's bitterly cold outside. So I get to sit in here at the computer and look up Kawasaki's, I guess. All right, guys, be safe. Everybody have a good one. We'll catch you soon.